We got a group of people here in a district that's interested in moving forward. We got a lot of challenges that we have to conquer. We can only conquer them together, and that's what Dan's interested in doing. You'll always be able to see what Dan is doing. He will make himself accessible. You will always see yourself in the decisions that he's making, because he's going to make decisions that are basically well-informed and basically reasonable. And you'll read about it in the paper and you'll say, that's about right, Dan McCreedy.
Woo! Imagine that. Imagine that. That's crazy, Don.
Are you going to, now let's be honest, all right? Are we going to agree with every decision he ever makes?
No.
Is that the standard?
No.
The standard is he's a good person who's genuinely working hard, who holds beliefs that he sincerely holds, not just to play the game, not just to posture, who puts real thought into the decisions that he makes on your behalf, who holds himself accountable to you, as he's doing here tonight and as he's done throughout the campaign, who represents you energetically and passionately and honestly. That's the standard of approval in government. That's what we're missing, and that's what he's going to bring starting January when he's sworn in as your next congressman. And here's the really good news. He's up in the polls. That's better than down. I know we don't trust the polls, but we'd all rather be up than down, right? He's up. He's not up by 10 points. He's not up by 15 points. He's up barely. And here's what's about to happen. Not just to him, but to all the candidates across the state. They're all about to get smacked with a tsunami of negative television advertising. It hasn't happened yet. You haven't seen it on TV yet. You're about to. If you're on the internet, if you're on TV, if you check a mailbox, get ready for about 35 days of straight negative slander against a bunch of great candidates, Dan included. This campaign in the home stretch is all about making sure Dan survives the tsunami of negativity that is headed his way. That's why he needs your help. It's more important now than it has been at literally any stage of the campaign. He has put himself in a position to win. All he has to do is close the gap from where he is now to Election Day. All he has to do is survive the avalanche of negativity that is headed his way, and you will determine whether or not he survives that. Your work, how many people you are willing to contact, will directly result in him winning by 1% or 2%, which is the most realistic scenario. This election could come down to less than 1,000 votes. We got 200 people here. You could all contact a handful of people. That's the entire margin of victory for Dan.
Yeah.
That's why you should do it. And if you're in South Charlotte, just know every vote you turn out for Dan is a vote for a state Senate race and a vote for a state House race. He's a three-fer. 3 for 1.
Yeah.
That's a good deal, Charlotte. I know we got Union County here, too. We love Union County.
Union.
Woo! Great, great. I'm about to hand the microphone over to Dan. Before I do, I just want to recognize Daniela. Daniela is someone I met for the very first time 10 minutes ago. She became a United States citizen 3 months ago and just registered to vote. And thank you, Daniela. Welcome. We are proud to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, your next congressperson, Dan McCreedy.
Yeah!
First of all, please join me in giving a round of applause to my friend and fellow veteran, Jeff Jackson,
Yeah!
who is working up in Raleigh on behalf of all of us. I also want to thank one other person who we're very lucky to have tonight. Laura, will you jump on up here with me?
Laura!
Come on up. If you don't know my wife, Laura, she is not just a mom of 4. She's a children's attorney who has represented kids in difficult custody cases at the Council for Children's Rights, a local nonprofit, and she is the rock behind this campaign. So please give Laura a round of applause.
I love you, Laura!
Just hang in with me for, 36 more days? It goes down 1 every day. We got a lot of problems where Jeff is up in Raleigh. But folks, let me tell you, we also got some problems in another place, and that's Washington, D.C.
Hello.
You know, the Marine Corps taught me that you fight for the person on your left and the person on your right. I don't know what y'all think. I think we got people up in Washington right now that are fighting for nobody but themselves. You know, in my platoon, we all wore the same color uniform. I had 65 Marines in the platoon that I had the honor of leading in Iraq during the surge of 2007 and 2008, and we came from all over this country. We never cared about where you came from. We never cared about who your parents were. We never cared about the color of your skin. I can promise you, the last thing we cared about was whether you're Republican or Democrat. I can guarantee you, and for the other veterans here in the here tonight, I guarantee you never received an order. Democrats go take the hill. Republicans stay back, and let's switch it up in 2 years. That's what the Marine Corps taught me, that we're all on the same team. That's what I think this country's all about. And that's what I think's missing up in Washington right now. You know, one thing that occurs to me since we started this campaign, which, believe it or not, we launched more than a year ago. That's how long we've been doing this. Is that there really is nothing political in what we're fighting for. There's nothing political in what we're fighting for. There's nothing political in saying that any kid, no matter their zip code, ought to have the chance to go to a great public school. There's nothing political in saying that a parent shouldn't have to choose between health care and putting food on the table for their kids. There's nothing political in saying that our seniors who have paid into Social Security and Medicare over decades ought to be able to count that those promises are going to be there for them. You know, when we started this thing, there weren't a lot of people that thought we could win this race. I think Jeff was about the only one. And Laura. As of today, we are dead even in the polls. We are dead even. That means we have one of the best chances in the entire country to turn this country around. But I need your help. This election will come down to less than 1,000 votes. There is no way this election is not absolutely down to the wire. And what that means is that what you can do in this district to help us win, you can do more than almost anyone in the entire country. By coming out and knocking on doors, by placing phone calls, by writing postcards. We've got groups of people that have started to write these postcards to voters all across the district. These are the things that are going to win this election. Because when that negative advertising comes in, and when all the lies and the attacks and the slander, when it begins, what they won't be able to stop is a neighbor talking to another neighbor about our message of country over party, bringing a new generation of leadership to Washington. Our message has been the same since day one. Nobody ought to go up to Washington as a Democrat first or Republican first. It should go as Americans first. It's time that we had leaders who put country over party. So thank you for being part of this campaign. Thank you for anything that you can do over the next 5 weeks to volunteer with us. Whether we win or lose this election is going to come down to your help, no question. In a moment, I'm going to give the mic over to Amelia, who can talk with you a little bit about how you can get involved in this campaign over the next 5 weeks. But first, I just want to say, and some of y'all have heard me say this before, I think this is an election about our kids. Laura and I have 4 of them. Our oldest is 7, our youngest is 1. It's like a little war zone over at our house. Ours are too young to really understand what's going on in this country. But we've already seen how fast they grow up. And one thing I think about is that they're going to be in history class one day, and they're going to open up this crazy chapter called 2017 and 2018. And they're going to read about how things went so haywire in this country. They're going to come home and they're going to ask me, Dad, what did you do? What did you do when things went so haywire in this country? And I know exactly what I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell them that I fought back.
Yeah!
But I'm not just going to say that. I'm going to tell them that we fought back. And I hope I can say, folks, in just 5 weeks' time, that people all across North Carolina stood up and said, enough is enough. It is time to stand up because this is our country. This is our time now. This is our year. Let's go turn this country around.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Dan McCreedy, everybody, let's hear it for him! Our next North Carolina Night Congressman! We are all here for Dan. Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Sycamore, for allowing us to host this event here tonight. Keep by and you're wonderful. So, I am Deputy Field Director for Dan McCreedy for Congress. It's a job that I love, and every day I get asked the same thing. Amelia, how does the race look? And I always say the same thing. I say it's going to be really close. But what makes me come to work every day and what inspires me every day is the mobility, the energy, and the momentum that I feel from everyday individuals such as yourselves. The people who say, you know what, I've never voted, but this election I have to. I've never volunteered on a campaign, but this election I have to. I voted for Republicans my entire life, but I'm voting for Dan McCreedy, and I'm going to tell other Republicans to vote for Dan McCreedy because I'm so inspired by his message.
Right.
It's folks like you that are the reason that I go to work every day and that I come back. And so with that, we need everybody here to continue in this last 5 weeks to knock on doors, to send text messages, to make phone calls, to bring us food and water. You're my favorite volunteers. We have offices in Matthews. We have offices in South Charlotte. We have offices in Union County. We're all the way out in Robeson County. And we're just growing and growing and growing until we're going to cover all of North Carolina's District 9. And you are going to be a part of it. And we are going to be sending a message to the rest of the country that no matter how much money is funneled into attack ads and negative ads, they cannot buy inspired people. And people who say, enough's enough, we're going to do something. You cannot fight that. And with that, let's go flip North Carolina's 9th District. Thank you so much.